Hola!
Bom dia!
And welcome to the Sunny Saudade project!
It's actually sunny!
Alright guys, back at it again with Carlos, aka Strimmerman, aka what am I going to do about this garden? Look at the mayhem and pandemonium that are these leaves. Just look at it. I mean, you can barely even see the garden from here. This has fully grown like crazy in just the past week or so. It's been raining non-stop, raining non-stop, so I'm gonna have to trim basically as much as I can, and I'm going to first save as much. Oh my goodness, look at this. I've never seen it this bad. It has never gotten this wild before. That is bonkers. That is actually bonkers. So basically, this bed here, the kale has started to bolt. I'm going to try and rescue as much of these things as possible. I'm going to try and harvest as much of this stuff as possible. This was the first bed that we built. We didn't know what we were doing. I'm standing on the bit of wood right now. There's some rocket over there. I'll try and rescue as much of it as possible. The rest is going to be trimmed. There is a leek somewhere. Charlotte did say there's a leek I have to harvest as well. All of these Cavolo, Nero. If I can harvest a couple of these, if they're still in decent shape, I will, but they've mostly bolted. Okay, so I will try and rescue as much of it as possible, but it's not going to be easy. And then anything from here on forward, we should be okay. And I just gotta sort this bit out. As you can see here, there is a rogue cauliflower that's trying to grow, but this one's bolted as well. So yeah, just wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck, because this weather has been incredible. It's just been raining, non-raining, and yeah, it's just it's been a lot. Right, let's get to work. Did I just spot a snake there? Lads, it looks like it's gonna rain, so I'm gonna have to call it a day or a couple hours until it stops raining. But essentially I have managed to and ignore these guys, I can pull these out myself, get all this bit trimmed. I've harvested all of the stuff that was left over. There is a leek here. It's still in pretty decent condition. This must have been the leek Charlotte was talking about. Very nice, very nice. And yeah, and then we just gotta dig all of the weeds out. We can use the stuff that's underneath here for mulch. I believe that's what she said as well. So like, yeah, I'll have to do a good old dig here, because all this stuff is really good mulch, or we can use this to plant something else in the future, but yeah, I'll leave this like this for now, and then Charlotte can sort out what she wants to do with it. But oh my goodness, look at all this stuff. Look, it's overgrown. This is completely overgrown. This is in the bottom of this is where this is one of the levels in our land, and I'm gonna have to trim all this. It's bloody mental.
Bon dear everyone. I know this is a bit late in the year, but we've obviously had a bit of a change of plans and stuff happened in the last week, not last week, in the last month and a half, with certain areas basically in our farm being poisoned, just behind where the camera is. I can no longer plant food there for this season, so I'm having a bit of a last minute fix up change of plans, and I thought maybe you guys can join me. I've got a list of everything. That looks like a crazy long list, but some of those are different types of the same vegetable, etc. But yeah, I've made a bit of a garden plan. I think what I'll do is I will post it on Buy Me a Coffee for anyone who wants to go and have a look. But I thought I would update you on the garden plans. This year we are running behind. Oh, by the way, excuse me, I've not been very well the last couple of days, so if I sound weird, that's why. We're running a couple of weeks behind compared to usual. Usually I get my first tomatoes and peppers all in around the beginning of April, usually around my birthday, around the 8th of April. But the weather's just been absolutely atrocious this spring, so we're running behind, but I feel like nature's running a bit behind compared to usual. I know in the UK you've had an unusually warm and sunny spring, but I think it was from mid-February right through to the end of March. It was around 50 days we had every day had rain, and it's not been particularly warm either. It has finally brightened up here in central Portugal, but usually we'd expect this weather like 2 weeks ago. I started planning yesterday, but I couldn't quite remember where all of my red cabbages were, and I still have a few cauliflower that I need to work around that are just finishing off in this garden. I've got the biggest cauliflower I've ever grown, which I should be harvesting probably in the next week. So that will be on there, what we're harvesting, growing and sowing video. Carlos has basically cleared all of this top part, and he actually pulled out this old kale. This kale's a couple of years old now. It was starting to bolt and it was just getting a bit sad, and it was planted directly into the ground back from when we didn't know what we were doing. So we've taken it out. It's gonna be put in the compost. The dogs have been eating it as well. But we're gonna put in a proper bed along here. And this bed that was here, obviously it got very overgrown. We didn't really know what we were doing. It was our first ever no-dig bed, and we definitely didn't do anything deep enough, including the mulch, so everything grew back really quickly. But that's okay, because basically all along this wall, we're getting rid of that bed. I'll probably take a photo. You'll have to ignore my mad scratchings. I'll take a photo before I draw everything in, so like now, how it's gonna look. So we've got the house over here, we're gonna have a decking that we're gonna build along here, hopefully in the summer. We're focusing on getting things put in the ground first. Then this bed's gonna come right to the end of where the pathway is. This bed that I'm currently sitting on the end, that's going to be extended at least 1 metre in front, so it matches the one here. Each one of those is going to have, like we have the sweet peas, we've got like a little tower made out of bamboo, or old sunflower stalks. And we're also going to have another one of those in the middle of the lower half of the garden. So we've got 4 sort of triangular pointy bits. The idea is that that's going to sit in the centre of all of the beds, so that we've got some shady bit for vegetables that don't particularly like a lot of sun. And then at the front we're going to have our more sprawling and sun-loving crops that are going to be at the front of the garden. The sun is over here, so they're going to sit on this side so they can grow out and go a bit mad. And anything that needs a bit more protecting is going to go at the back, because as you can see, the sun goes that way and the shade in the evening is on the back end of the garden behind where I am, basically. We're also going to have a line where the carrots and stuff were. We're not eating those carrots. All of that stuff's getting pulled out just because there was herbicide near those. I don't actually think what's left in the bed is going to be affected by the herbicide that was put down. I've done a lot of research since some of that spread onto our garden. And from what I understand, most herbicides are made to break down. We are trying to find out what particular herbicide they use so we can be extra safe. But it did get put down in February and stuff has already started growing back. So that is a sign that the poison has broken down and it shouldn't affect us anymore. But we are being careful. Anything that is along that fence, we're just putting flowers in there. So sunflowers, marigolds probably going to go in there. Anything that can maybe like climb a bit. I might put some more sweet peas along that wall. It will help bring bugs. That will help pollinate our fruit and veg into our garden, but we don't have to worry about the fact that we can't eat it. So yeah, that's what's going to go along that wall. It's a shame. I was planning to grow loads of beans and whatnot up there, but we're just going to use the poles that we're going to stick in the centre of the garden instead. But yeah, where the carrots are, it's a little bit further in. All of that we're just going to pull out. I'm not going to eat any of those carrots. The lettuce is sad, it never quite grew properly after being sprayed, so that's just going to get pulled out. And instead, in that little line along there, we are going to put what you call a Florida weave, and we're going to grow all of our cherry tomatoes up there. I've noticed that the cherry tomatoes seem to really love this climate the most. It's like a big long thin bed as well, so it makes sense to put those there. We might put some herbs and maybe some more marigolds in along beside them. But yeah, that's what's going to go in there. And also the seedlings that I did end of March. So one of the ones that I planted was the black cherry tomato. Has gone absolutely mad. So we've got so many black cherry tomato seedlings, so we need a lot of vining tomato room. That's going to go in there. Another reason to have our more vining stuff this side of the garden is because of the grapevines. I have done a few times where I've had lots of vining plants at the back, and it just gets very, very tangled. The grapevines just suddenly grow very quickly. Though, like, we had cherry tomatoes and grapevines growing into one another, and it was just a bit much. So instead, we're going to have anything vining towards the front. So yeah, we're going to have in, oh, that's a tick, go away, bye. I hope there's none on my leg. I did feel a tickle on my leg. Hello. So in this bed we're going to put cucumbers in here. Cucumbers are usually pretty thirsty, so I thought if they're a bit more sheltered I won't need to water them as much. Then we're going to have our long beans growing in a tower here. They're a bit more heat tolerant, but they still don't like loads, and there's more bugs on me, go away. They still don't like loads of heat, so long beans are going to go in the tower here. Sweet peas, obviously, we've already planted in this one there. And then regular peas are going to go further down. Sometimes water does flow towards the end of the garden, so I'm hoping that will work better down there. But I'm not too worried about peas. I've accepted that they're more a winter sort of veg, and the ones that we did plant, obviously 90% of them got killed off, so it is annoying, but I'm going to plant the ones that are growing anyway and hope for the best. So any of my big sprawling out veggies. Right. So I thought I would put butternut squash at the front of this bed that's going to be along beside me here. There's a pathway there. We can move and shape things about a bit, so if it spreads out onto the pathway, that's fine. Whereabouts you guys are sitting, oh my god, the dogs, and whereabouts you guys are, I'm going to put a couple of courgette plants. We had them down lower in the garden last year and they did very, very well, but they did just grow over everything. So I figured if I put them at the front of the bed, they also don't get sunburnt as easily as some of the other plants. So if they go at the front, they can grow out towards the sun that way, into the pathway. They shouldn't disturb any other plants. If they disturb the pathway, they disturb the pathway, whatever. But yeah, they're going to go wherever you guys are sitting now. And I figured on the corner of this one is where I'm going to try and grow melon. I was hoping to get some more beds where we had some beds last year, but with the rain and everything, it's just not worked out. So I'm going to squeeze in my big sprawling plants on the corners and the ends of beds, and they can just grow into the pathways and I'll just dodge them. That's fine, I can deal with that. And then I do have some pumpkin growing underneath our peach tree. We have a bed that's basically not been used for a long while and it is covered in weeds. So I'm going to get rid of all those weeds, maybe top it up with a bit more compost, and my pumpkin probably mid-May is going to go in at the very end of the garden so it can really spread out, because usually pumpkins take up the most room. There's a gate that we barely use. It can go there, that's fine. I hadn't finished my plan completely yet, just because I couldn't quite remember where all of our red cabbages are. Red cabbages will still grow into the summer for a little while. I'm hoping by June they'll all be out, but I do need to sort of plant around them. The two biggest ones are just down the end here. They're doing very well, they look very healthy. We're going to make lots of slaw. We love a summer slaw, but once those are gone, we really need our shady crops at the back. So anything like lettuce is going to go at the back. We've got some Belgian endive growing, that's going to go at the back. If we can manage to grow any more spinach, it'll go at the back. But the spinach seeds just aren't seeding this year. Oh, this is very dependent on how far we get with our decking. We do want to grow some loofahs hopefully this year. Maybe we could plant those along the thing actually. Now I'm thinking about, I was going to put like a trellis next to where the decking is going to be, but if that doesn't get far ahead enough quickly enough, I'll put the loofahs in along that fence, because you don't eat them, they're sponges, so that makes a lot of sense actually. Loofahs along there. We've got iceberg lettuce, Queen of May lettuce, Belgian endive, as I said, that's going to go along the back. We've got parsnips growing in here already. I don't know how well they're doing. Hopefully they're fine. I guess we'll find out. San Marzino tomatoes. That is something I'm struggling to find room for. I am thinking this little patch in front of the sweet peas, and just do a whole big patch of them. They're determinate tomatoes, so once they've produced everything, you just harvest it all at once and just get rid of it. So I feel like that's a good area, and it would have had enough time to rot. They're still only small seedlings, so it gives me a couple of weeks for them to grow a bit bigger, and we can pop them in here. One thing that surprisingly needs more shade, I worked out last year, is brinjalla, aubergine. I am thinking towards the back of this bed we can fit some aubergine in. Obviously I've taken out all my kale. If we can fit it in, it's going to go in the back around the same area it was in, but it'll be later summer that we'll plant it so that we can harvest it during the winter. It's quite a good winter veg, is kale. Green zebra tomato, no. Parsnip, oh yes. Garlic, obviously we have dotted around everywhere. We're using it as both a pest deterrent, so it's around the edges of beds, as well as, you know, an actual future crop. That's basically everywhere, so I don't really need to worry about that. I just need to plant around them. They don't grow very big, and that's the same for the onions. We've already got them planted. Potatoes, as you know, are in the trench down by the wall. Once the bed behind the potatoes is more empty, I'm hoping to put some sweet potato in next to it. It's quite a big full trench of really good compost along that little mini wall we have halfway through our garden. So I'm hoping once we've taken out the giant cauliflower and the failed Brussels sprouts, they did not go to plan, but once we've got those out of the way, we can put some sweet potato in there. For the chard and the bettergabe, candied beetroot, the plan is as gaps come up, they're quite good for just plonking in gaps just to fill them up. So that's what I'm going to use them for, and hopefully we can just get like a little bit every now and then ready to harvest, so we can add them into salads and stuff. Peppers and chili peppers, all of that. Obviously a lot of down here I haven't worked out what I'm going to put in those yet, so I do think once I've emptied these far beds out, our peppers and our chili peppers are going to be more in this area. We did have some, oh excuse me, we did have a lot of cayenne pepper in that sort of part of the garden. Last year did pretty well. What I will do is top the garden beds up with some more compost. I am thinking of getting hold of some worm castings, just because these back beds don't seem to have done as well. I think the tomatoes last year sucked a lot of the nutrients out of the garden, so I'll top them up with worm castings before I put any peppers in that back section. And I do have to try and find a way of separating the chilies and the regular sweet peppers. I didn't grow sweet peppers last year, I just grew hot peppers really, other than a couple of padrons. But they can cross-pollinate. You can get spicy sweet peppers and really mild chili peppers. No one wants either of those. So yeah, I think that's everything. That was a bit of a rant, but what I'm going to do is tomorrow, I don't have to go anywhere. I'm going to do a lot of prep, so trimming back any spare seedlings so that we can get bigger, healthier plants, putting in our posts. I'm going to collect some cardboard to start this bed tomorrow, and that's what we've got coming up. So this is very much a garden preparation and planning video, and hopefully everything's going to go okay. I will photocopy what I've sort of planned out so far, and hopefully it will all make sense. It is a bit of a mad scribble. I know what it means. Hopefully you guys will. Maybe I'll colour it in a bit so it makes more sense. Right, I better go take these dogs for a walk now that it's cooling down. And hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow as well, because I sound ridiculous at the moment. So this particular tomato is one of the green zebra seedlings that I planted at the end of March. It was doing really well, and then my cats trod on it and pulled it out. And I've got this other one here as well. So I'm just quickly potting them up into larger pots, and hopefully, this soil's already pretty wet. I'm hoping they'll be okay. Otherwise I'm gonna have to plant some more. I mean, there are still a couple of seedlings, but you know, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I really want these. They're supposed to be really tasty. I'm literally just poking a hole. Into the centre. Popping the roots down. I believe tomatoes are one of the easiest ones to do this with, but I guess we'll find out. Usually you'd want to wait until you've got like a good 4 true leaves, as they're known. So a seedling, you get these first 2 leaves, and then you get the next leaves that come out, which are true leaves. These are just seedling leaves. You'd really want to wait until you've got 4 of the true leaves through. But this was an emergency operation. I'll have to find some way of scribbling on because I've run out of labels for now. This could maybe do. Yeah, I'm going to use this. Pop those in some water. Now I need to thin some earlier seeds out from March. Oh, these are March start, but these were the... Anyway, I'm going to thin some of the other seeds out because there's too many growing in each hole. I'll show you what I mean. Right, so these guys didn't do too well. Not sure as to why. So the Belgian endive hasn't done great, but everything else seems to be doing pretty well. I know that obviously the butternut squash, as you can probably see, it's only just coming up, but that's because it's only just started warming up. And same with the pumpkin. There's another one coming up here as well. So I'm pretty happy, actually. Other than Belgian endive, I don't. What's going on, girl? Well, at least I won't have to thin her out. And I think I'm the only person I know that actually eats them. So you know, what I'm going to do is thinning out. So the ones that have done the most well are our lettuce. So we've got, I believe this is the Renew de Mayo. Yeah, so that's like your buttery kind of lettuce. I love me a buttery lettuce. And this one should be the iceberg. Yes. Yeah, let's say yeah. But what's currently happening is some of them we have, this one's got 1, 2, 3. Same with this, we've got 3, so all of them germinated, which is nice. Sorry, I must be wiggling the table too much. But yeah, all of these, where you've got a few growing in each cell, the roots will start competing with one another and they'll start competing for nutrients. So, what we're going to do is just leave so there's 1 in each cell tray. And what you're going to do is pick the healthiest looking one you're going to keep. These two are almost identical. I think this one has bigger leaves, so you... Dead. And you can leave the roots in. You'll probably actually eat that, go on. You can leave the roots from the old plant in because they'll rot down and then feed the other seedlings. So, you know, it's a win-win. I think this one at the back is actually the not as good one. Plonk. Microgreen, anyone? Lovely. Now we've got 1 per cell tray. I think the biggest one, oh my god, there's 4 growing out this one. Luckily, all the ones at the front are the ones I don't want, so we're just gonna go in, snip. The dogs ate my scissors, FYI. You're wondering why I'm using these broken scissors. So that, get rid of that, and get rid of that. Like, just, there's actually 2 there. As you can see, the long beans have done very well. I just need to, again, pick the biggest one. I think this one here is the biggest, so that one can go. Sometimes you can separate them, but honestly I can't be bothered. Okay, that's 4, and then these peas, we've got 2 of these. I think this one at the side's the best, so you can go. Usually I would direct sow peas, but obviously we had a bit of an issue this year, so yeah. Just check the water. We've had a lot of rain, so they're actually okay. Just check the other ones. Annoyingly, the long beans here didn't go, but these ones did. But I will have to get rid of one of these. I think I can direct sow some extra long beans, but it's nice to always have some that you know are gonna succeed. So these ones are the black cherry tomatoes. As you see, they've done very well, but I am gonna go in and trim them so that the healthiest ones can succeed. Oh, they've both done pretty well, but I think you're definitely a wee bit wee. Bop, 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 bop. Unfortunately, all of the chili peppers haven't grown. I think because I thought it was going to be warmer, and then we had a change in temperature, so I might have to re-sow some of our more unusual types of chili peppers. And I've got the black beauty, black chocolate I think it's called, sweet pepper. So hopefully now it's warming up, if I try again we can get some. Maybe I'll just multi-sow into individual pots, so at least we get one of each plant. Maybe, we'll see. Good job. Good boy. No, not all of them. Okay. I'm not sure what's what here. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I'm going to move that out the way. At least it's warm. Oh my goodness. Right, so in this bed we have some failed Brussels sprouts. I can't grow Brussels sprouts. Just doesn't work for me. We've also got a few weeds that have gotten a bit rogue, and we've got what was our broccoli. It's starting to bolt now. So anything that's bolting is coming out. The broccolini, I think it's had its time. That's got to come out to make way for the beans that we will be planting here. This one I shouldn't need to weigh down the poles as it's an older bed, so it should stay upright. This is a weed for sure. Bye. Get closer. I'm absolutely soaking after that. Let's cut off any good edible bits of broccolini, and then this is actually all the way back here. That's really woody. Okay, let's try from. Oh, Oh, it's tough. I leave the roots in so that then the dying plant can feed the healthy plants. We'll put some straw mulch on top so that we don't have to worry about the watering. Well, we will have to worry about the watering, but it'll keep more moisture in the ground in the summer when we'll get very hot and dry days. Does anybody want any salsa? I've grown too much. Look at it, it's a beast. I'm thinking if we put it here, this salsa, or parsley in English, can sit in the middle and be a bit more shaded and will help deter pests. Here's one of the many Brussels sprout plants that is obviously not going to produce anything. Let's just kill that off. See this? This is where it's bolted, so we're not going to get any flower heads off that. 1 year I will finally grow a Brussels sprout that's successful. 1 year. I might have this with me roballo tonight. What I will say is my onions definitely look better than last year. Oh, come here. Now usually I wouldn't pull the roots out, but this one looks like it's trying to grab a new plant and that's going to get in my way, so I'm pulling that one. Usually you want to leave your roots in, it feeds back into the soil, and also it stops disturbing the mycelium network that lives in your soil. Good healthy soil is basically a living thing. You don't want to rip off an animal's limbs to keep it alive, so if you want good healthy living soil, keep the good stuff that's living inside. But as I said, that bit would have probably caused more problems than good. Obviously there are a few weeds in here. The straw that we did have has rotted down. That was our mulch from last year. This is last year's roots of corn. We had sweet corn here. But look how good and healthy and rich this soil is. It's just beautiful. If it's lovely and dark, like this is, that's a really good sign. That's full of lots of rotting stuff that'll feed your plants. It's got good drainage, it's nice and light. It does need a little bit of a water. It's windy and sunny today, so it's drying out a bit, but yeah, and look at this onion. Look, an actual bulb. I've seen lots of living things in here as well. I just pulled out something that was alive down here somewhere. Lost it. But yeah, if it's got critters in it, that's a good sign. Usually when you start pulling weeds, you do get the worms start coming out. Got the ump with you mucking around with their soil. These are the roots from the old veggies. Those will rot down. But I think I'm going to do the back half of this bed later. At the moment I'm focusing on this area so we can get the beans in before the end of April. We're just in here and we've got garlic and onions growing along the side. These are great natural pest deterrent. I hate this sticky stuff. It's supposed to be really good for you, but it's very annoying. Ah, get it? Come out. Yeah, there's a living creature, a little jumping spider. This is grass. I try and keep grass out because it will go mad. I try and shake off as much good dirt as I can. It's usually where you find the creatures, actually. It's all its own little ecosystem. And this stuff is horrible. I hate it. But it will die back soon because it'll be too warm. And it's definitely better than it was last year, so. Oh! Oh, it's a tiny mushroom. Can you see it? A little baby mushroom. Another good sign. Oh! Right, I think we can probably get our little teepee in. We can get our beans in soon. the good shit. And that is how you make a garden bed. In about a year's time it will look like the one next to it, which is much more sort of natural looking. But over this year, this card will break down. It will suppress any weeds that are currently underneath. And that will also, as I said, break down and feed into the soil. What I'll do, probably later in the summer, is I'll come along and I'll properly mark it off. But that's just more aesthetic than anything. I'll use this big bit of wood behind me that we're no longer using for that bed. And yeah, it needs to go a bit further forward, but at least it's a start, and I can get my cucumbers in early May, which is what I want. They'll go about here, so I can put my salads back here. Right, I'm sufficiently covered in horse poo. I need to go and walk the dogs and have a shower. Soon it'll be too hot to do any of this, so you put in the work now and you reap the rewards later. But let me tell you, it's hard work.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this week's video. Charlotte's been a busy beaver doing all the gardening work, and I'm really proud of her. She's a good sausage.
Thank you. If you have any recommendations of things to plant in the garden, then let us know down in the comments. What are you planting this year? Are you excited? And I guess we'll see you in our next video, which is what we're sowing, growing and eating in April, so you can see what we've been planting.
Yay. Leave a like, comment, subscribe guys, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
Tchauzinho.
Tchauzinho.